Gavin Lux had a bad year last year.
Ooh, wait.
You have a thing for that. Why would you not press the button?
Because I'm faster than the button.
That's true. You're faster than the button. There's no sugarcoating. 2020 was a really shite year for Gavin Lux. He was late to summer camp. Maybe COVID related, maybe not. He didn't really want to tell anybody why he was late to camp. And that's his own personal business, and we won't bother him with that. But obviously, the late arrival hurt him. He didn't start the year with the team. He fell way behind. He looked lost in his first couple of summer camp games. The few that he actually got to play in looked bad, like really bad.
Yeah.
We talked about it a lot. He responded to us. It was a back and forth. We have now since settled our disagreement, and we are now buddies, sort of.
Yeah, we're
But
friendly.
I mean,
he gets it.
he didn't look great. I mean, there's a lot of things about him that were working against him. He admits, like, hey, I just had a really bad year. A lot of things were working against me. But he talked a little bit with our friend David Vasse about just kind of the bad taste that the season left for him last year. Thinks he's working on what the offseason did for him, how he reset himself and restarted. And I think we're going to see good things out of Gavin Lux in 2021.
Let's hear Gavin talk about it himself.
How would you describe the vibe in spring training for you this year compared to years past?
Yeah, I think this year, I feel like me personally, I have a little more to prove, I think. Obviously, 2020 was not a great year for me personally. So I think I have more to prove now, and I want to go out there. I'm anxious to start playing. I think I kind of have a bad taste in my mouth a little bit. So I'm looking forward to starting.
This was recorded a couple of days ago. They just dropped it today, but he's looking forward to getting games going. He did. He played on Monday.
Today's Monday.
Look good.
He did. He went after
smooth.
The fact for me, and this was a big thing. He went after the first pitch, and it was a strike, and he hit it and got a base hit off of it. That was a really good sign for me because last year, specifically in the few plate appearances that he got, I think he only ended up with like 60 at bats or something like that. He would look at strikes right down the middle, chase after balls in the dirt, and then look at a strike right down the middle, and he'd be done, and that would be it for him. And he just looked like he was uncomfortable in the batter's box. He looked like every pitch that was thrown at him, he was completely guessing and had no idea what was happening and no idea what was going on. But now he comes to the plate, looks confident. His stroke looks pretty solid, mechanically sound.
Yeah.
I think Dave Roberts has talked in the past where he's like, hey, there's a lot of parts to Gavin's swing. A lot needs to go right in order for it to go smoothly. But when it does go smoothly, it goes really well. And so tough to say after one game, but he sounds more confident. He sounds more on track. He sounds more like himself. It sounds to me like they are giving him the starting job at second base.
It's his to lose. He's a former blue chip prospect, and you don't get that kind of recognition around the league without being very good. He makes this team better. He gives Chris Taylor the opportunity to fill both the Chris Taylor and the Kike Hernandez role.
Right.
So you see whoever the hell gets that other spot. If it's going to be Zach Attack McKinstry, if it's going to be Matt Beatty, you got to assume that Eddie Rios is going to be on here. And keep in mind, it's only going to be a 26-man roster this year, so you're not going to have a lot of, just dudes hanging around on the bench. On top of that, there's no DH, so you're not going to get a lot of at-bats. Bouncing around, you're going to see, probably there's going to be like two spots. You're going to, spell JT a couple times a week maybe, and used not as a true platoon, but used the left field spot between Pollock and a few of those other guys. But when you're looking at Lux, yeah, I mean, it feels like it's kind of right to say it's his job to lose, and it should be that way, because if he doesn't win it, you can just plug in CT, and then if he does, all right, cool. That's what you want. You want that. He's a speed burner. He can play up the middle if his throws are right. And apparently he was working out all off season at Dodger Stadium, and not all, but most of the off season at Dodger Stadium on some of that stuff. So before we get to your points, let's go.
Yes.
Throw more back to Gavin Lux.
Yeah, I think just working out at Dodger Stadium and being around Brandon McDaniels every day, Rob, our RVS, our hitting coach, other players, Chris Taylor's out there. I mean, it's a better opportunity to be with guys who you're going to be with during the season, guys who are really smart, who care about you getting better. So for me, it was kind of a no-brainer to be out there and getting my work in and being with the coaches that I'm going to be with, obviously, this year and in the future. So,
yeah, speaking of the coaches, Dino Ebel was
Dino too. Oh my God, he was hitting me ground balls. We were grinding. He was throwing me BP. Can't forget. I'm actually sorry. I forgot about Dino. Dino's out there grinding too.
Don't forget
Everybody.
the shout out, man.
Yeah, I can't forget Dino.
He was the one telling me how great you looked out there.
He's the one he was throwing BP like every day, hitting ground balls every day. So I can't forget Dino. I'm sorry.
We won't forget him. But not only does he help you the baseball wise, Gavin, how much does he help you get pumped up and the confidence every day in everything that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's such a positive human being, and just him hitting ground balls, and then after just going through it and talking about it, and he definitely has a way of making you feel really comfortable and making you feel more confident in being yourself. So I love Dino to death, and he definitely gets out there and grinds with us. So he's the man.
I mean, we all love Dino to death.
Yeah, oatmeal Dino, hell yeah.
Oatmeal Dino. Yeah. But that's, to me, that's great to hear that he was out there. He was putting in work at Dodger Stadium. He acknowledged that it was a bad year, and it looked like it humbled him.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that's just been so good at every level that he's ever played at, and with that comes a lot of different things. You get a little bit of an ego boost that comes along with it, and sometimes that turns people into a dick. I mean, it's just going to happen. I'm not saying that's what happened with Gavin Lux in particular, but when you really get knocked back to the ground and knocked on your back and realize, like, hey, I actually have some work I got to do, I think that makes you a better player overall. When you get to face that sort of uphill battle and challenge that really makes you question, like, hey, what is deep down within me? I have to dig for this. Like, do I have this in me? And I think that's what happened to him this offseason. I think he had to look back and be like, look, I mean, I was like a 400 hitter at the minor league level. Like, I'm that good of a ball player, and everybody knows that. I know that. But am I that good at the big league level? I think that it's going to be really good for him to have that rebound. I think going through that obviously sucks, but I think long-term it's going to be good for him and good for his career. I've already said it before. I think he's going to be one of the top second basemen in the league this year, and I got a lot riding on that. Obviously, if it goes wrong, no big deal with me. I didn't lose it, but
yeah, I can see that. It's Gavin Lux season. This is his time.
Yeah,
and if not, that's it. I don't see him getting another opportunity with the boys in blue. Usually it's if you stretch it out to 3 different seasons, you can give that wash in 2020. I think Tim Neverett said in game that Lux had COVID last year. That was never actually announced by him or the team. That's just people have speculated as much. We're not going to say he has. I always avoid saying he did, but I mean, part of it kind of lines up. Things just never really worked out for him, and it was a constant uphill battle for him that he could never get out on top, and especially in such a short season. And you get somebody like Max Muncy, who while the power was still there, he did knock 12 dingers. The bat to ball wasn't there, but he's earned that leash, and that's why he stayed in the games. And eventually, it paid off in the World Series. But Lux talked to Dave Vassay, and by the way, shout out to our friends over at AM 570 for hooking us up with those videos. He had noted there's opportunity for Gavin to make a big difference. He's not in that bucket of dudes like McKinstry or Beatty or even Eddie Rios that are fighting for a spot. I think he's fighting for a starting spot, not just a roster spot. Right. And he had talked about it today also with Dave, saying, like, somebody's got to step up. We all have something to prove. All of them do have something to prove. And you hope that Lux does figure it out with this spring. They have 27 more games to figure it out. 31 days as of now to opening day. Shout out Brandon League for number 31. Dave talked about Gavin after the game. So let's hear a little bit from Dave about Gavin.
I think with Gavin, it's a natural progression. I think that's one part of it. He had a really good winter, and the start has been really good. The consistency of his work. You have to understand that there was a 10-day, 2-week, 3.5-week layoff, intermittent of spring training and spring training 2.0. So that puts a guy behind the 8 ball, but he's worked real hard to be consistent, and he's in a good spot.
Did he need to change anything about his swing, or was it just a matter of refining?
I think it's more of just, all he's known is consistent playing time, consistent work, and there's a lot of things going on with this swing as far as timing. And the more consistent he plays, bodes better for him in the batter's box. And so I don't think there was much of a mechanical change.
Do you think there was a mechanical change?
Look, man, I don't know anything about baseball, so
Good call.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks good. He looks confident. The stroke is there. We all know the talent's there. That's never been in question. It has never been the question that the talent is there to whether or not he's going to be able to execute it throughout the course of a year. The Dodgers are in a really unique position to where they don't need Gavin Lux. But if he happens to be one of the top second basemen in all of baseball, holy crap, dude! You talk about a powerhouse lineup. If he can hit to the level of the potential that he has, that'd be a hell of a lineup. Because you're talking about Gavin Lux right now. You're talking about Gavin Lux hitting 8th in a lineup,
Yes.
which is wild. Because in any other lineup where you have a top prospect like that or a former top prospect like that, he's going to be a guy that's featured in a lineup rather than a footnote of the lineup. And right now, that's what he is.
I mean, that's just the absurd depth of this lineup. You got Mookie and Seager at the top. You're probably going to see JT batting 3. You're going to see Max Muncy or the 2019 NL MVP batting 4th or whatever the hell it's going to be. Where do you bat Will Smith? Where do you bat somebody like Lux? Where do you bat somebody like AJ Pollock, who by the way was tied for the team lead in homers last year? What, 1 or 2 off from the NL lead in homers? A lot of it's deep. That lineup is a deep boy. Oh, and Eddie Rios is just chilling on the bench. Big dong power. Why not? Let's go. LFG right there. But I see somebody right. Fernando saying Lux is gonna drop a 25 homer season. Somebody like Lux also, he's gonna get time. He's gonna get the opportunity to hit both sides of the plate. They're not going to throw him in that reduced platoon role right away.
Right.
Because somebody like CT is going to get playing time around. I mean, let's be real. It'll be a full season. Corey's probably good for one little hamstring injury or something like that. He's going to see some time there at short. He's apparently playing some third base, more on CT in a little bit. But, yeah, this is it. This is the year for Gavin Lux. And if not, well, we tried.
I think the funny thing, or not the funny thing, the cool thing is it seems like almost universally across the board, fans are like, yeah, we want to see him get his chance. Like we want to see Gavin Lux be in there on a daily basis. We want to see him get the runway that he deserves. He's earned it. He's fought for it. He's proved himself throughout the course of the minor. He's taken a really similar path that Alex Verdugo took throughout the course of his minor league career. Obviously, the Dodgers ultimately couldn't find a spot for him long term, and faced an opportunity that they couldn't say no to by trading him for Mookie Betts. So I get that, but he's taken a very similar course where it's been like, hey, we don't really need you, and we're not going to force you into a position to where we need you, and we're not going to just give you a starting job. So hit at the minor league level, and we'll talk again next season. And that's kind of been the case for him. I mean, he's put up ridiculous numbers every single year to the point where you're like, he is ready. He's ready. What's happening? And then he gets his opportunity, gets pushed back a little bit. It happens. I think this is the year for him. I think we're going to see big things out of him. I will stay with my prediction that he is one of the top second basemen in all of baseball this year.
And you heard it here third, folks.
Third, fourth.
Forks.
You heard it here third, Forks.